In the ancient world, your eyes were not a convenience. They were the difference between eating and starving, between escaping and being caught, between living and dying. Before you could reproduce, bad eyesight in the ancient world was not an inconvenience you corrected with a pair of glasses. It was a death sentence, and evolution made sure of it. The human eye did not evolve in an office. It evolved on the open African savanna, a flat, vast, sun-drenched landscape with no walls, no ceilings, and threats that could appear at any distance in any direction. Ancient human eyes were built for three specific tasks that modern eyes almost never perform: distance tracking, scanning for prey and predators across hundreds of meters, peripheral motion detection, catching movement at the edge of vision before it reached striking range, and low-light reading, navigating at dawn, dusk, and firelight when most predators hunted. These are not the tasks your eyes perform today. You're reading this on a screen at roughly the same distance ancient humans held food to their faces to eat. Your eyes are performing the least demanding visual task they were ever designed for, and doing it for hours every single day. But what happened to ancient humans whose eyes couldn't perform those three tasks? That's the part nobody talks about. For 300,000 years, poor eyesight had immediate, brutal consequences. A hunter who couldn't resolve movement at 200 meters didn't track the prey. The tribe went hungry. His status in the group dropped. His access to food and mates diminished. A gatherer who couldn't distinguish a ripe berry from a toxic one at arm's length poisoned herself. Or her children. A scout who missed the predator in the grass didn't get a second chance. This is natural selection at its most direct. The gene variants associated with strong distance vision were ruthlessly selected for generation after generation. Because the cost of weak vision was paid immediately and completely, you either saw clearly or the consequences found you before you could pass your genes on. By the time modern humans emerged, the vast majority had excellent distance vision. Myopia, the inability to see clearly at distance, was extraordinarily rare. Archaeological and historical records suggest rates below 1% in pre-agricultural populations. That number is about to become the most alarming fact in this video. Because in the last 50 years, we managed to undo 300,000 years of visual evolution, and we did it in a single generation. In 1970, roughly 25% of people in developed countries were myopic. Today, that number is over 40% globally. In parts of East Asia, South Korea, Singapore, urban China, rates among young adults have reached 80 to 90%. By 2050, researchers estimate over half the human population on Earth will be myopic. A condition that affected less than 1% of pre-agricultural humans will affect more than 50% of all humans within 25 years. This is not a genetic epidemic. Human DNA does not change this fast. This is an environmental epidemic, and the cause is almost embarrassingly simple. Once you understand what ancient eyes were built to do, the human eye develops its focal length during childhood, roughly the first 12 years of life. During that window, the eye needs two things to develop correctly: bright natural outdoor light and the constant exercise of focusing at distance. Ancient children spent almost all of their waking hours outdoors in sunlight, eyes constantly adjusting between near and far, the exact stimulus the developing eye needs to calibrate correctly. Modern children spend most of their development indoors, under artificial light, eyes fixed at close range on screens and books, never performing the distance work the eye is waiting to be told it needs. The eye develops for the environment it's given. Ancient children's eyes said, "I live in a vast open world. Calibrate for distance." Modern children's eyes said, "I live 18 inches from a screen. Calibrate for near." And once the calibration is set, it cannot be undone, which raises the most uncomfortable question. If the ancient selection pressure was this strong, why did 300,000 years of brutal visual selection fail in 50 years? Here's the answer. Natural selection only works when the trait has consequences. For 300,000 years, poor distance vision had immediate, lethal consequences. The selection pressure was constant, brutal, and effective. Then we invented glasses. A person with severe myopia in the ancient world didn't survive to reproduce. A person with severe myopia today puts on a $200 pair of glasses, and the consequence disappears entirely. The selection pressure that maintained sharp human vision for 300,000 years switched off in roughly 200 years. The moment corrective lenses became widely available. Evolution requires generations to respond to selection pressure. It cannot respond to a pressure that no longer exists. We corrected the symptom, we removed the evolutionary pressure, and then we created an environment that actively causes the condition in every new generation. The single most evidence-backed intervention for myopia prevention is also the most ancient human behavior imaginable. Go outside. Not to look at your phone outside. Not to sit in a shaded area. To be in bright, natural outdoor light with your eyes working at distance for at least 2 hours every day. Multiple large-scale studies found that simply increasing outdoor time to 2 hours per day reduced new myopia cases by up to 54%. Not eye drops, not special glasses, not surgery. 2 hours of what ancient humans did every single day of their lives without thinking about it. They didn't protect their vision. They just lived in the environment their eyes were built for. The protection was a side effect of simply being outside. The same way ancient humans didn't exercise, they just moved. They didn't eat clean. They just ate what existed. The health benefit wasn't the goal. The environment produced it automatically. Ancient humans with even moderate visual impairment still suffered real consequences. We don't. Injuries, failed hunts, missed threats. The brutality of that selection process is not something to romanticize, and myopia is not the only modern eye condition. Cataracts, glaucoma, and macular degeneration have complex causes that go beyond screen time and outdoor light. This story is specifically about the myopia epidemic and its evolutionary roots, not a complete theory of eye health. The ancient human whose eyes couldn't see the predator in the grass didn't get a second chance. You got glasses, you got contacts, you got laser surgery? That's not a failure. That's one of the most remarkable things human technology has ever produced. But in solving the symptoms so completely, we switched off the selection pressure that maintained sharp human vision for 300,000 years. And then we built an environment that produces myopia in almost every child who grows up in it. Your eyes are not broken. They are perfectly calibrated for a world that no longer exists and miscalibrated for the one that does. The fix isn't complicated. It's just inconvenient. Go outside, look at something far away. For 2 hours, every single day, the way ancient humans did without ever knowing it mattered. If you want more of these, the real science behind why your ancient body keeps colliding with the modern world, subscribe to Primordial.